Hey Damien for Automotive Superstore. If you love Alpine doubled-in head units and you want their top flight model with every single feature they can throw in, it's this one, the iLX-507AI. Let's dive in and have a look. So let's start off with all the headline features of this unit. The first thing is the screen. It's a WXGA high resolution screen, 1280 by 720p in pixel resolution. Besides that, wired and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, of course, built-in DAB+ radio, smartphone mirroring via HDMI with an aftermarket adapter. It'll also do high-res audio, and it can do that via flash drive up to the highest resolution possible. If you've got specific smartphones that can do high-res audio over Bluetooth, it will do that also, but it's a slightly lower resolution than via flash drive. Talking flash drives, the video playback for this, it'll do 1080p video quite happily. I've tested that with a couple of video files. It looks fantastic. There's also HDMI inputs and outputs. The dual USBs on this are both 2.4 amps in charging. Now you can connect two cameras for this one as it comes out of the box. However, the 507AI can also accept one of Alpine's adapter units to upgrade to 4 cameras. It also has an amplifier built in that's Class D, and Alpine states does 50 watts by 4. Now it's also iDatalink ready, and that means you can option one of those modules for various late model Japanese and American vehicles, especially vehicles like the Ford Ranger and the Colorado that are quite popular, and that will give you an on-screen display for things like tire monitoring and gauges, your aircon, those sorts of things, so you can retain those features from the standard vehicle's setup. Finally, there's Alpine's advanced sound tuning that's built into this, which means you may not need one of those advanced DSPs because the signal tuning in this is really excellent to begin with. Next up, a quick look at what comes inside the box. So the unit itself has what's called an L-style chassis. That means that the bottom din of the two dins in this protrudes further out and leaves the top kind of vacant and empty, a place to put your wiring, for example. Also makes it easier to fit in certain specific Toyota and Mazda vehicles. You get the main loom, obviously, for your power earth and trigger and access to the 4-powered internal Class D channels in the unit. This loom here is for the camera inputs. Now, it has a proprietary Alpine connector for the front and rear cameras for this. So if you've got Alpine cameras, they'll plug straight in. If you've got a traditional camera that has RCA inputs, like a yellow RCA, you just buy the affordable Alpine adapters that go from that to RCA on our website. Your Bluetooth microphone, obviously. This is the fly lead for the front, rear and subwoofer RCA pre-outs, 4 volts RMS, but if you're not using an external amplifier, just leave that out altogether if you like. This little loom here is for auxiliary remote out, HDMI remote, microphone input as well. A fascia surround that goes over the front once it's fitted. Your DAB radio antenna, also a GPS antenna that comes in this you need for the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. And lastly, a quick start guide, though you can just download the full manual online. Let's jump into the menu system. So let's kick off in Android Auto mode. This is with your Android phone connected, and you can see here all the important apps for communication and entertainment are here. And to access them, you swipe up and down, but you've also got a split screen set up here. And so here's Apple CarPlay. It's very similar to Android Auto, except you just swipe left and right to access your maps and your navigation and your music files. Your setup menu is down here. What's nice in this unit is all of these functions here, you can set things like your default volume levels for, and say here in Apple CarPlay, your media, phone calls, ringtones, notifications, all of those you can individually set your levels for relative to the rest, as well as relative source levels between the sources. That's really nice, and one of the reasons you spend extra on a high-end unit like this one, it's something that entry-level units just don't have. The keys along the bottom here, you can see there are 4 buttons, and that's always white, but you can actually change the background screen to suit the interior color of the dashboard of your car. To access all of the signal processing in this unit, you press this button here. So we have a voltage display and direct access to bass and treble control here at the bottom. A couple of extra functions here. MX is Alpine's proprietary treble and bass boost system in 3 levels. You've also got bass engine EQ over here. They can also be set in different levels themselves. You've got the ability to turn the rear speakers on and off, and the subwoofer on and off also. Then your traditional balance system that you can move around like this. This is where you can delay each of the speakers in the system. So you measure the distance to the furthest one away, and you delay the rest of them so that they all arrive at the listening position at the same time. Now here we have what is called a true parametric equalizer. It's again one of the reasons why you invest money in a high-end head unit like this. There are individual bands for front left, front right, rear right, and subwoofer. There are 13 bands for each of these channels, plus 4 bands for the subwoofer. So here, for example, we have the subwoofer. You can choose one of 4 bands. Each of those bands, you can adjust the center frequency. And then if you adjust boost up, for example, you can see it's shown there on the screen. You can be in wide mode, medium mode, or narrow mode. And you can see shown there that boost or cut curve will change its shape depending on whether it's wide, medium, or narrow. And finally into the crossover. So it's a two-way electronic crossover. You have high pass for the front and rear channels and low pass for the subwoofer channel. The front and rears can be set from as low as 20 Hertz all the way up to 250 Hertz. The slope can be varied from 24 to 12 to 6 to 0. If we go to subwoofer, you can engage a low pass filter, same thing, 6, 12, 18 or 24 dB per octave, and again variable from 250 Hertz all the way down to 20 Hertz. As sound processing goes, this is about as good as you'll get in a head unit. If you want any greater than this, for example, you want to have a 3-way crossover, it'd be a great idea to upgrade to one of Alpine's own DSP units and connect that to this one. So there you have it, Alpine's iLX-507A, their top flight unit if you're after a double din. If you want to grab one, there'll be a link down below. While you're down there, like and subscribe. As always, see you next time.